All right, folks, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. All of us hate doing these videos. All of us don't like what's coming out of all of these videos. But the truth is the truth. The news is the news. It's just the way it is, folks. But like you saw in the thumbnail, not only Dodge though, CDJR, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram as a whole, they're going down like the Titanic. And I'm going to give you the reasons why right after this intro. All right, folks, so we're going to get right into it. I'm going to give you the 4 reasons, and each of these reasons lead into each other. So starting from the top leads to the second, leads to the third, and then the fourth one the third one doesn't lead into the fourth one, but the fourth one's just a general problem with Stellantis overall. But the 4 reasons: dealerships and pricing, which leads to people not wanting to buy these cars, which leads to cars being on the lot and winding up with lot rot. If you don't know what lot rot is, we'll get into that. Now, cars being on the lot and running into lot rot runs into the banks not wanting to fund these cars at full MSRP. So banks are cutting back on not only increasing the percentage rate for new and used cars, but they're also backing off on how much they're willing to finance these new and used cars. But we'll get into that. And then the fourth, we all know we've talked about this before, and the fourth is the direction that Stellantis is going with their American side and going primarily all EVs. Now there is still some the 6-cylinders out there, but we'll get into that when we get into each one of these. So let's quickly talk about number 1. You've heard it from all of us. Butter the Insider, TK's Garage, OC Motivator. You heard it from me. I've done a couple videos on this. Pricing in dealerships. First, this pricing business. Stellantis has priced themselves out of the market. Now they are starting to bring these incentives back. Dealerships are starting to come up with creative ways to deal with the rising prices from their parent company, Stellantis, who they're buying the cars from, and then coming up with other avenues to make things a little bit easier on the consumer through their own means. But it's not currently. It's not enough. Right? The market is going to set what the prices of these cars should be, and they are coming down, and there are some incentives out there, but it's just not far enough. But there are still dealerships out there that have markups on Hellcats, that have markups on Scat Packs, and trying to recoup some of their money for these cars sitting on the lot for a year, almost 2 years. And then just dealership scumbaggery overall, right? So all of these issues, doing these scumbag deals, adding all these crazy add-ons that people don't want, or adding these add-ons without the knowledge of the consumer. It's just dealerships have made purchasing a new car a horrible experience, and now people just don't want to do it. People just don't want to put up with it. And this is just not CDJR. This is other brands as well. But I'm a CDJR channel, pretty much a Dodge channel, so we kind of focus in on the Dodge part of this. But this is happening across the board to other manufacturers and other dealerships as well, not just CDJR. So now, like I said, all these prices and these gouging and the scumbaggery dealership stuff leads to the cars sitting on the lot for over a year, right? So a lot of these cars were made in late 22. If you're looking at a 23 nowadays, your car's been sitting on the lot for almost 2 years. Now, what that leads to is all the rubber bushings, anything made of rubber is going to rot. It's going to dry rot. If they don't take care of the cars, which they can't because they got so much inventory, they can't keep up with, taking care of each and every one of these cars. So you get what's called lot rot, and that's, like I said, the rubber bushings and all that stuff, dry rots, flat spots on tires dry rot, fluids go bad. People that store cars will tell you, hey, you still have to change your oil. You can't just let it sit there. And if there's any, God forbid, there's any E85 or flex fuel or gasoline in some of these vehicles, and you let gasoline sit for 2 years, you know what it turns into a bad thing. And then all of a sudden, someone wants to test drive this car. So now you got 1.5 years old gas in a car you're starting up, and now you're going to gum up all of the injectors. You're going to gum up the valves, all of that. Lot rot is terrible. Let alone trying to keep up with the batteries and keep the batteries charged. You know the deal. You let your car sit too long, your battery's going to lose charge. And again, they can't keep up the maintenance on all of the vehicles they have in inventory because the inventory is so large. So now, taking, the cars are sitting on the lot for 1.5 years, 2 years. The lot rot is coming in and taking effect. Now banks are looking at these cars and saying, hey, if it's been sitting on your lot, this long, 1.5 years, 2 years, it's no longer a new car. They don't consider it a new car. They're considering it a used car. And now, a couple banks, go watch TK's Garage video, Wells Fargo and Navy Federal, 2 huge lenders in the car market, are only financing 85 to 90% of MSRP. So now you go to a dealership, not only do they have say they have a $10K markup, and you don't negotiate and get rid of that markup, so that's $10,000 you have to come up with. And oh, by the way, you got to come up with the other 10 to 12% that the bank's not going to finance. And really, this has led to why so many people that have bought Dodge product, CDJR products, since the COVID has ended, or during COVID, so they paid all these ridiculous prices. They paid these markups, and now TK's Garage did a video on it. 92% of Dodge owners of new cars are $10,000 to $12,000 under on what their car is worth. So banks figured this out, and they're not taking it anymore. So not only is the market putting pressure on dealerships and Dodge and Stellantis, the banks are now putting additional pressure on Stellantis, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, to be like, look, we are not going to finance all of this overhead that you guys are putting on these cars, all of these add-ons. So the banks are talking MSRP. They're not talking about, these extended warranties and these protection plans and these maintenance plans and all of that stuff that dealerships try and add on there. So could be another $5,000-$6,000. So now you're looking to put anywhere, we'll just say from $10,000 to $30,000 down on a car just so you can finance it. It's just it's ludicrous. It's crazy. So those are really the 3 big reasons why CDJR is going down like the Titanic. In the last one, y'all know the deal. The direction that Stellantis is going with their American side of the business, trying to push all these EVs onto the market, and they're EVs that people just don't want. We've talked about it. OC Motivators talked about it. Butters talked about it. TK's talked about it. And the market has already talked about it, right? The market itself. Look at all the EVs that are out there, and they're just not selling. Anywhere from Tesla to Ford to Nissan to, pick an EV, Prius, Toyota, pick an EV, they're just not selling. And, arguably, I would say the hybrids are doing better than the EVs. But, yeah, Americans just don't want EVs. So combine all four of these, and it is just not good news at all, unfortunately. And I know I've had a couple people hit me up in my comments saying, we don't want to hear bad news. Well, unfortunately, that's all the news that is out there, and it's all bad. There's really no good news out there. Other than these four, those first three could lead to us getting better deals on cars. But then when you're looking at getting a better deal on a car, now you have to look at, all right, how long's it been sitting on the lot? How much maintenance have, as a dealership, how much maintenance have you done on this vehicle over the last year to 2 years to make sure there's no lot rot? What about the seals? What about the rubber, the rubber grommets and all of that stuff that dry rots while it sits on the lot? What about the electrical stuff? What about the battery? So, you as a consumer going out to buy a car, especially a Dodge, or any car, right? You should research and see how long that car's been sitting on their lot, and then come in and ask these questions. Hey, what if I drive my car off and all my fluids are bad? Are you going to replace all the fluids? Oil, transmission fluid, diff fluid, brake fluid, power steering fluid, all of that. If it sits too long, it just goes bad. So yeah, I kind of got off topic there for a second, but there you go, folks. There are my 4 reasons why CDJR as a whole it is going down like the Titanic. Take it as it is, but and I feel bad for Stellantis employees and all the layoffs that they're doing. No one ever wants to see that, but I'm with OC Motivator, right? I know you current employees that are still with Stellantis are probably biding your time and trying to wait out and get those severance packages. I don't know. You've already got at least 800 Stellantis ex-Stellantis employees out there looking for jobs. Are you going to wait for the next 400? Are you going to be within the next 400? If you're not in that 400, are you going to be in the next 400? Right? Just sitting around just waiting for the word for you to be laid off and get your severance package. Is that worth your sanity and your possibility of finding a job now, where later there's going to be, Stellantis said there's more coming. So there's going to be more auto workers out there looking for jobs, and there's only so many auto worker jobs out there. I would jump ship now before it actually sinks all of the way. They're still treading water right now, but I would jump ship now and go find another job. But that's just my advice. As OC Motivator's advice, I'm 100% in agreement with them. Again, I got a little bit off topic, but there you go, folks. It's just not good news. I wish I had good news. I just don't have any. That's going to do it for this, folks. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. If you're stopping in for the first time, please check out the rest of the channel. If you like what's going on with the rest of the channel, do me them few things. Like, subscribe, smash the bell, shoot me a comment, share it on your social media. I'll definitely appreciate it. Shake and Bake will definitely appreciate it, because every red penny from YouTube goes right back into Shake and Bake. That's it for this one, folks. Till next time, adios.